Gotta cover your dome, get a PA knit. Them PA boys who you cease play with. Drop it in the cart and at least play 6. You gon' cherish them joints on some keepsake shit. Gotta cover your dome, get a PA knit. All kind of flavors is what we stay with. It complement the shine so that we stay lit. Just what you need to complete great fits. Yeah. When it comes to the hats, Gully got you covered. The knits is the shit, you gon' drop all the others. Word to mother, once you discover the comfort, you gon' be like, yo, my brother. Fuck a beanie, unless it's Seagull, it's a wrap. The mother hats, really a lie, you fitted cap. As a holiday gift, the joy we give is drip with more color than Roy G. Biv. Never basic, even got the patterns. You'll shine like lanterns in the cut like caverns. Whether you're hustling, thugging, or loving simple life, no pilfering, hit Gully, he'll get you right. Gotta cover your dome, get a PA knit. Them PA boys who you cease play with. Drop it in the cart and at least play 6. You gon' cherish them joints on some keepsake shit. Gotta cover your dome, get a PA knit. All kind of flavors is what we stay with. It complement the shine so that we stay lit. Just what you need to complete great fits, yeah.
PA Knit, the most electrifying fashion accessory in the world today. Get yours today at pa-knit.com. Peace. You ready, Nick? Let's get 'em. New music, I promised you.
Nigga, the hunger to win, the will to survive. The look in my eyes, saying
Truck drivers, turn me up. I make promises, I keep promises.
The hunger to win, the will to survive.
Shout out to Splash Alka from the Bronx, YNX from Buffalo, New York. Yeah. Yeah, that's my shit, Nick. When I get up out of here, man, play that back, man. It's crack, man. Shout out to the truck drivers, man. I appreciate y'all holding me down. It's been a great week, man. I'm feeling relieved. I told you I was going to the dentist. I got that out the way. I plan on doing a lot of smiling. Got my dentist appointment out the way. Paid him. Pillmatic out the way. Paid Dre. Dre sent all the splits and, you know, from DistroKid, so the artist is getting paid, you know what I mean? Everybody got their publishing in order. It's a team effort. We not only making music, but we making paper together. So, fuck with your boy. If you're an underground MC and you looking for some action, man, I'm the action, man. I'm running this incredible offense, man. And I got y'all, trust me. Anyway, yeah, Pillmatic 2 is out on all streaming sites. We getting rave reviews, getting great support, man. Shout out to Cormega, sharing my shit, you know what I'm saying? You find people along the way, man, strangers. Mega's not a stranger at this point. We got a relationship, but you meet people, you know, throughout your journey, man, who gonna assist you. So don't get discouraged and focus totally on the people around you, man. You're gonna meet some strangers. You're gonna meet some new companions. Your whole thing is to continue to dribble. If you pick up your dribble, that's the beginning of a turnover. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody who hip-hopping. I got lots to talk about, man. I'm gonna start from the top, man. Diddy is viral. I don't know what's Diddy and Meek Mill, man. They got them niggas got buzzard luck. They got karma, man, on their ass, man. It don't pay to be a rotten motherfucker, man. It don't. You're not gonna get away with that bullshit that you be doing, man. If you greedy, if you stingy, if you disloyal, if you a liar, you know what I'm saying? Anything that's out of God's way, I said this before, man. You gonna get chin checked at some point, and what we witnessing right now is the chin checking of Sean Combs. Craig Mack passed away in bad shape, bad mental, you know, bad spirits. You know what I mean? He looked at bad, like seemed like he had a broken heart. Few years after that, Black Rob followed him. Rob, I knew personally. Rob was very discouraged, and you know what I mean, he was Rob was tired, man. And he often spoke about, things from Puff. So did Mark Curry. And G-Dep is home. G-Dep is somebody who Black Rob said was also mistreated by Diddy, but G-Dep came straight home and made a video and said, Puff, holla at me. I got 400 songs. I don't know if G-Dep still want to boogie with Puff at this point after this video came out. Puff is, he got the dark cloud over him, man. Video footage was released by CNN of Puff kicking Cassie's ass in a hotel in Los Angeles. And it's the biggest story in the world right now. They just keep playing this footage, playing it over and over and over. You know what I find funny is that Instagram will flag you or give you restrictions, kick you off live stream for reposting violent content. But they ain't got no problem with this Puff Daddy shit. This shit is violent than a motherfucker, and it's circulating, and ain't nobody saying shit. Now, I see a lot of people asking, where did this shit come from? This shit was from March 5th, 2016, and it just came to light almost 8 years later. Me, personally, I think that when they raided them houses, they said that they took a lot of media. They took computers, they took DATs, they took media, CDs, tapes, and they probably recovered it during that search. I don't know. It don't make sense to keep some shit like that on hand. It don't, not if it's damaging to your own career and shit. Like, so I don't know if they got it from him, but that's just something that's being said online that maybe they picked it up during those raids. Man, I don't know what to say, man. I know that his life is forever gonna be damaged. We won't get no more music from him or his company. I think Bad Boy is probably pretty much over with. He got shit on his hands that he got to deal with. The video depicted of him kicking Cassie's ass in a towel, and this is some of the things that she detailed in her lawsuit, that he was not only sexually abusive but physically abusive for many years. She claimed black eyes and all kind of shit. And you got the footage, and everybody has the footage, and everybody's passing judgment on it, man. The verdict is guilty, guilty, guilty. He ain't even been charged with anything yet. All of his troubles are civilly at this point. But watching that video footage, man, I'm saying to myself, God damn, fam. They said that according to Cassie, and according to parts of her lawsuit that was released online, she said that he ended up paying the hotel $50,000 for that footage, paying the hotel security to fork it over. And apparently they probably sold him a copy and kept one for themselves. I mean, you got to think he's famous. If somebody's the head of a security company or something like that, and they get somebody famous like Puff on tape, whether he want to buy it or not, they're gonna keep a copy for themselves. Like, he's famous. If this just to show it to his friends and shit on a cell phone, like, yo, you want to see Diddy doing this and this and that, check it out. It wasn't destroyed. It's viral. It ain't a place that he could hide now. Last week his son made a diss record, trying to protect the family name and his father's name and shit. That's null and void. The content of the song, he's not a good rapper. King Combs, he's not a good rapper. It just fell on deaf ears. Nobody was buying none of the gangster shit that he was saying. But when you got Puff, who was 37 when he began dating Cassie, a 19-year-old, that's like college age, freshman in college age, and you see him kicking her ass like that, man, it just turned some people's stomachs. You got people who have daughters that age and, little sisters and this and that, and he damn near 40 years old kicking somebody's ass who he's old enough to be her father and shit, man. That shit's just disgusting. It's disgusting, man. Like, when I'm somebody who has, in my past, dated younger chicks. You know what I'm saying? When you're a boss and you get money, the young bitches be throwing themselves at you. They're accessible to you. Let's just be for real for a minute. So, I got kids by chicks younger than me and shit like that, by over 10 years and shit. And one thing that you got to understand and respect, that even though you fucking with this chick, you got to remember there was a nigga somewhere that she liked in school that was her age. You know what I'm saying? That she has experiences with. Like, they might have went to the same church. She might have worked with him, went to the prom with him. He might have been big man on campus in college. And you got to understand that you got to deal with that, man. In the pimp world, pimps talk about all the time about, you know, protecting their bitches from them younger pimps that's fresh off the porch, all fresh and shit. You know what I mean? Looking good and vivacious and shit like that. You got to be aware of that. And for Puff to be almost 40 years old and knocking a bitch 19, that's a big window, man. Her attention span isn't developed yet. She's not a woman yet. She's a young lady. You know what I'm saying? And she hasn't had a lot of experience yet. Her friends are young, her age, and friends are often influential. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how big Puff is and whatever, her friends, they don't appreciate her having a big nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? They would rather be in her shoes. I mean, hypothetically, they would rather be the bitch that's traveling the world and being spoiled and shit like that. So they gonna always say, girl, you know he doing this, you know he doing that. You're up against a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. And the video footage, based on my experiences of being a grown-ass man, and I've seen some things, he seemed to be angry in that footage, you know what I'm saying? And normally, niggas go off the deep end like that when they didn't caught their bitch fucking or some shit like that. Or maybe it's another guy and shit, you know, it ain't really player and shit to go and check a nigga about a bitch and shit like that. That's not accepted in our world and shit. Like, you don't check the pimp, you check the hoe. You know what I'm saying? So, he seemed to be very, very upset about something, and he was kicking her ass. According to some information provided online, the video that we seen was her trying to escape. He had already whooped her ass or whatever. They already went through something, and she was making her escape. She was trying to get up out of there and shit. And when he detected that she was gone or moving, he came out in the hallway with a towel and shit, and, you know, hopped on her ass again. That ass whooping was to prevent her from going to the authorities and shit. Like, if you just whooped a bitch, especially a younger bitch, you know what I'm saying, she's all emotional and shit like that. No matter what you done said to her, she still feels damaged and disrespected and shit like that. She about to talk to a couple of her friends and shit. Girl, let me see your face. Showed her his face. She's hurting. She about to get up out of there. Motherfucker told her, get up out of there, I come pick you up. Could have been another dude coming to pick her up, whatever. But she about to get up out of here. He can't risk her leaving with her face fucked up or any visible scars and shit like that. So he got to chase her out into the hallway and try to bring her the fuck back into where he can see her before she gets out to the public. Mark Curry was interviewed on several platforms, and he said how he never physically saw Diddy jump on her, but he would see them have arguments, and then they leave, and then the next time he see her, she might have a scar on her face or a black eye or some, you know, might be looking swollen and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, and she also said how he's injured her in the past, and the way that he kept it from the public was by hiding her in hotels and shit, keeping her, you know, away from the public's eye and shit, so it don't damage his reputation until her swelling and shit went down, and then we can come back out. And that's what they have on camera, man. He then jumped on her ass already, and she's about to break the fuck out and leak this shit to the public, and he can't have that because he's Diddy. And this is the domestic shit don't fly in this world and shit, especially she's younger than you, and you got the video cameras, camera footage and shit like that, man. Like, you just can't do it. You can't do it. You got to be aware of what the fuck is going on right around here. I seen a documentary last night about Megan and Tory Lanez. They got a lot of that shit on film, not the actual shooting, but they got Megan on film, man. When the police rolled up, told them to get out the car, she got out the car, the bitch foot was bleeding like a motherfucker all over the concrete and shit like that. Once that shit get to the public's eye, your ass is on the line and shit. So that's what I believe happened in that incident. But here's a dude, this is my thing right here, right? Here's a guy who got mega bucks. I think he was a billionaire before. Was Puff labeled a billionaire at a point in time? Was he? All right, let's say he's in the ups of 900 million, billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Let's say he's on the line and shit of becoming a billionaire. He's in the room. You got all this money, man. You about can have any bitch you want in the world. For real. Like, how could you get all hung up like that on one particular chick when you can have any bitch in the world for real? Like, I'm pretty sure he had other broads in his phones and shit like that that he could have called up and shit. But it happens to the best of us, man. You'll meet your match. I met mine, man. I'm glad that that shit happened to me when I was 19, and I got disrupted from a toxic situation similar to this Diddy joint. We was both the same age, but I went to the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? I went to the penitentiary, and that was our severance right there and shit. So while in the penitentiary, I had to listen to niggas coming off the streets to the jail, talking about all the fucking she was doing out there, all the different niggas that's knocking her down. And when you're a high profile nigga, you got a name for yourself, niggas really be at your bitch. You know what I'm saying? She's like a trophy catch, and she's with somebody else and shit. But it actually ended up being the best thing that happened to me, because I wasn't in control of my emotions, and we used to be fighting and tearing up house parties, and you know what I mean? Like, that shit happens, man. Like, especially when someone doesn't have control of their emotions and shit. When emotions involved, it can get ugly. Everything it can get ugly, man. It can go left field. We seen it go as far as death and suicide and all types of shit. So that's something that he's gonna have to deal with. I know from here on out, he won't be able to get a fair trial nowhere. They gonna have, if he makes it to court for a criminal case, because a lot of the action that he got right now is civil. If he makes it to court, they won't be able to find a jury for him in the United States. They would have to go to Montana some motherfucking where and shit, Wyoming or some shit, parts unknown, where it ain't no black folks, and you know what I'm saying, and where people don't even know what the fuck is going on with this, man, because this shit is viral as a motherfucker, man. Like, if anybody has ever left money on the floor for the YouTubers, it was Alpo Martinez. In this situation right here with Puff, like, people paid their bills off this shit yesterday, and it's going further. It's going further. Of course, 50 Cent chimed in and shit. He's making a comedy out of it. It's just Puff's. It's his day, man. Like, your day will come, man, if you ain't right. So the things that's happening with him, the way it's happening, it just tells me a lot about the energy that he put out into the world. Because when you put out rotten shit, when you put out bad, it'll eventually make its way around the room and shit, and come back to you and shit. The earth is round for a reason, and that's what it is, man. So besides Puff, there's been like 3 diss records aimed at Meek Mill this week. Mike Knox dissed him, Santos dissed him, and somebody else. But this is somebody else who obviously was a very, very rotten person, man, because shit is just caving in. The roof is falling in on Meek. It is. The roof is falling in on Meek, man. It started out with Dean and DJ Academic's interviews with Dean and Quilly, and I believe that supercharged a lot of people that had problems with him. And it also put his actions out into the public and shit, you know what I'm saying, where the public will hang you, man, when they draw their conclusion and shit. So the Pound Side Pop interview and everything that came, Quilly online saying how he would invite him places and not want to do no music with him, but want to pop bottles in front of him and shit like that. It just described him as being like a ball hog. The motive is this: there hasn't been no mega rap superstar in Philly since Beanie Siegel until Meek came. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, like even AR-Ab and OBH, that was like a Northeast regional hip hop movement and shit. Like they had fans other places, but it was centralized in the Northeast region and shit. Meek Mill, when Meek got down with Rick Ross, nobody has been that big from Philly in a long time, and for some reason nobody followed. Nobody followed. Nobody came behind him. I mean, it was other shit going on in Philly. There's other niggas in Philly rapping their ass off and doing their thing to an extent, but you didn't see the room get filled up with Philly niggas and shit. We just got Meek, and when you look at something like that, this is something that probably happens a lot in the Northeast. Niggas from the Northeast up north is just wired different. In Atlanta, I'm saying Atlanta because a lot of people compare what goes on in other cities to Atlanta. Atlanta, you got all kind of motherfuckers that's popping. Future, the Migos, T.I., Ludacris, Gucci Mane. Like, I can go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? People who got I think 21 Savage is operating down there out of Atlanta. Just a lot of people who experience success out of Atlanta, and some of them dudes have worked together and shit. Not all of them, but some of them have worked together. The Northeast, everybody want to be the man just cause. Cameron said that when he was Outpost character and Paid in Full. Everybody want to be the man, and Meek Mill is somebody who came from the underground DVD circuit, right? He was a regular dude battling and doing freestyles on DVDs. He came up out of that. Somebody was supposed to come with him. Seriously. He gave NH a shot I believe NH is on a song, but that was just it. It was other guys who should have got a little pull out of that underground, man. Cheek Raw, Vodka. These are some of these guys I'm naming as guys that Meek probably looked up to at a point in time. The first thing that was a red flag about Meek Mill was the Osino situation. Osino's from State Property. He was D-Nice in the movie State Property, and despite being in State Property and being D-Nice on film, O was popping in the city of Philly and shit. He's a popular nigga and shit. Shout out to O. I was in a Juvenile joint with him before. I spoke about this before, but he's a live dude. He a live nigga, man. And he had Meek under the wing at a point in time when O was the man, when O was the shit, State Property and shit. He kind of embraced Meek and had Meek under the wing. And O describes this agreement that him and Meek had when Meek called him one day and asked him to post his project on his Instagram page. Osino told him, man, I ain't got no problem with that. No problem. Just when my shit come out, make sure you post my shit. No harm, no foul. That's how it's supposed to go. That's team ball. And O posted him, and then when it was O's turn, when he asked Meek to post his shit, Meek didn't want to do it, and they ended up having a disconnect. Naturally, we gonna have some issues about this shit because that's sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have to do what I did for you, but they went through something, and Meek started to say shit like, yeah, you bum ass nigga, and you got that old ass Corvette and all of this shit that should have got his face slapped. Some sucker shit. You was a bum. We seen Meek on camera as a bum. Dirty ass, regular clothes, big ass white t-shirts, shitty ass cornrows in his hair and shit, like not getting no shape ups, just a regular dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing polished about him, no polish about him and shit. And for you to come out your mouth and say some shit like that to somebody who was a part of a legendary group in Philadelphia, State Property, really, really put on for the city. Like, Jay-Z went and got them niggas out the underground, man. O was in a group with Sparks, Emilio Sparks, and Osino. They was together and shit. And to go get them dudes, Jay-Z went and got them dudes up out the underground and gave them niggas a lane and shit. And a lot of them probably didn't make the best of the situation, but they became famous without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? And relevant without a doubt. I seen O in the streets of Philly. I even seen him. I covered Emilio Sparks' release party for his album Payback. It was a project that came out on Koch. And O was in there. He was in the party with his shirt off. O covered in tattoos from the neck down. He was in there with his shirt off in the club. Chains, icy chains all over him and shit, flossing. And for a cat that had nothing like Meek to disrespect him and talk about his car and all this shit, now that you got a little something, they told us a lot about the nigga character. As far as O's character, O never removed Meek's album. It's still on his Instagram page to this day. You know what I'm saying? It don't get no realer than that. So we know he didn't have any malice towards Meek. But that situation was the first red flag and an indication of Meek's character. After that, he had some situation with Wale, and some people say something with Fat Trail, whatever. The list goes on. Dean, somebody who started out with him and was, according to Dean and according to others, Dean was the live one in the street. Dean was the one that was getting to some paper and popular and shit when it comes to their relationship before rap. Dean was somebody that didn't get much love, got left behind basically and shit. I believe he accused Dean of doing something, stealing something. I don't know. But Dean was somebody who got left behind. His cousin, O'Malley, who was always on the front line, especially during that beef with OBH. O'Malley actually spit a diss record response to the Arab attacks and shit. Was like, yeah, that's my cousin, niggas, and we got to get out. Da, da, da. He showed up for him, but that's his cousin, and he didn't get any, significant success. You know what I'm saying? I heard that when he ended up coming out with his project, that it was legit, and he didn't get no support from Meek. And before you know it, you didn't see O'Malley around him no more. So when you don't see the day one niggas that started out with a dude not around anymore, it starts to tell you about these cats. It kind of reminds me of somebody who was on the block, let's say we all on the block together, pumping and shit, right? And one of us from the clique turn into a drug kingpin. What happens is them niggas just stop coming around and they'll start hanging with other drug kingpins. They might start hanging with some niggas from across town who getting money, because now it's the we getting money boys club. They done forgot about the niggas that they started with who helped build them up to getting money. And that's what it seemed like Meek did when you looked at his entourage. It started to change. You started to see less Philly niggas, and you started to see him around Slow Bucks and Trav, that from G Unit and shit, and just different people from other places and shit. So it was visible that he wasn't doing right by the guys that he came up with. I believe that ultimately he wanted to be the only nigga in Philly. I believe he wanted to be the only nigga that was popping in music in Philly. There was nobody on his level for many years. Once he got with Rose, nobody was on his level when it came to Philadelphia and shit. And I believe he liked it that way. I believe he didn't want nobody else to get on it. Because of that, he didn't help anybody. And a lot of guys now are accusing him of speaking against guys who had opportunities in play. Like they said he spoke negative about Arab and when they had a situation in play. Now you got Santos, whose diss record I listened to before I came here, and it's fire. Santos is from the Philly underground. He got a reputation. He one of them dudes and shit, but he just kind of like went away, and he talks about why he went away in the diss track and shit. He said he got discouraged, like he was kind of pissed off. He was in a situation where DJ Khaled was president and Rick Ross and them was president. They was somewhere about to get the ball rolling, and he said on his diss track that Meek came into a room and seen him and was like, yo, what this nigga doing here? And Meek ended up walking off and having a private conversation with DJ Khaled, and next thing you know, Santos is out of the picture. Khaled stopped answering the phone, stopped receiving texts and shit like that. What I'm saying is the Philly niggas are accusing him of being a gatekeeper. That's what they call it. That's what Santos said on the record. Accusing him of being a gatekeeper and trying to keep other artists from Philly out of the game, out of the mainstream hip-hop game and shit. Do I believe it? when you keep having certain niggas saying the same shit over and over and over and over, hell yeah, I'm starting to believe it. Can I trust that he would do some shit like that? A nigga that bunny hops for white folks don't got no morals. He don't at all. He don't give a fuck. Like, he don't even give a fuck about his own self-image and shit. So he's not gonna care about anybody else. And we seen Meek bunny hopping like this, jumping up and down, bunny hopping in front of some white millionaires or billionaires and shit. That video footage of him bunny hopping, in my opinion, that was the turning point of his career. I felt that he went straight down after that, because it's kind of offensive to all of us, you know, to see a black man being emasculated like that. Nigga, you black just like us, man. Like, what the fuck is you doing and shit? Like, we are the people who was singing along to them. I used to rhyme like this and nice like this, however that shit go, but we the niggas that was singing along to that shit, happy that you made it and being inspired by your success and shit like that. And when you got there, that's how you carried it. That turned off a lot of people. And do I believe what these niggas are saying? Yes, I do. Make sure y'all go listen to Santos' diss track. I interviewed Santos some years ago. Yeah, cool nigga, and he's very talented. I'm just hearing from him for the first time since that interview. During that interview was a time that he was cooking. He was hot. He was on his way, like, because somebody directed me to him. My man Turk, rest in peace. My man Turk told me, yo, you need to interview Santos, man. This is the time and shit. Like, I had heard of him from like Too Raw from the Streets and the Philly DVDs, but I just didn't know him and I didn't know what he looked like. Somebody put us together during the time that he was cooking. And this could have been around 2014 or 15 or some shit like that. Whatever the case, he vanished after that. He gives details on this diss song on why he stepped away from music. He just said he was just fucked up about being so close to success, being so close to pay dirt. You know, it was his dream, and have it snatched away by somebody who, he said he didn't even know Meek like that. He said they don't even know each other and shit. He said, I ain't never did nothing to this nigga, nothing. Like, I don't even know him. I ain't never asked him for nothing and shit. Like, why would you go and disrupt my motion and shit, like, for nothing? And that's something that he's saying on the track, but you gotta hear it. Nick, did you hear the diss record by Santos? It's on Philly Fame TV. Make sure y'all go to Philly Fame TV. Shout out to Philly Fame. That's my guy. He got great content. It's a Philly Fame exclusive. Go over there and check that song out. And you're going to hear a story that's just crazy as shit, man. Like, it's very, very graphic on wax. Let's say that much. But these dudes got to go. I've never really been in that situation where somebody has tried to cut off my blessings in regards to hip hop. I'm pretty sure people have done rotten shit to me with me not being present or behind my back, but it was never something that I acknowledged or paid attention to, or I never felt it disrupted me or anything like that. But Santos, Poundside Pop, and others, they saying that Meek was doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? And when you see motherfuckers like, Philly got a lot of MCs, dope MCs. You just kind of pay attention, man. It's right there in front of you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just right there in front of you that maybe this nigga not no team player and shit. And Philly, they kind of cliquish. What I mean by that is, they move together. Wherever they at, they move together, man. They very prideful city and shit. And for him to get on and not give no rhythm back, that kind of explains why you never really saw, you don't really see a lot of footage of him in Philly. Like, the rest of these guys that I'm naming, you'll see them dudes at TLA. You'll see them dudes at Philly events and shit like that. You'll see them in the streets of Philly and shit. Like, you'll see them moving around Philly. But Meek was somebody that once he got with Rose and them, it was almost like it was beneath him, or he felt like that. That's why you've never seen him on Too Raw for the Streets. Once he became successful, if it was one person who was deserving of a Meek Mill interview, it was Big Star from Too Raw from the Streets. You know what I'm saying? Or hip hop since 1987, the Philadelphia media outlets that helped push this dude when he didn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know what that's like, because it happens to me all the time. You'll push these niggas into an opportunity, into success, into the spotlight, and they don't look back. They go find a new media motherfucker and new friends to talk to and shit. They don't give a fuck about nothing that you did for them. And it's happened to me often. So this is something that obviously Meek's done, because I never seen him with Big Star again. Not since he made it. You know what I mean? And Big Star covers basketball now, a lot of high school and college basketball and shit. Some dope sports media and shit. So he probably don't care. Big Star's he's religious and shit. He was like, you know, he's known as being like a righteous Christian type dude. He got a really good spirit about him, so he probably don't even care. But I'm just pointing out the obvious. But go listen to that diss track, man, by Santos. It's on Philly Fame TV. I just wanted to get in here and talk briefly about doing wrong, because your day will come, and that's what we seeing with Diddy and Meek Mill. Them niggas have done a lot of wrong, and their momentum has been disrupted. It's come to a halt. 50 Cent said just a week ago in regards to Meek Mill, you shouldn't be on vacation. Your last project only sold 6,000 copies in the first week. That's indication that your career is done, especially in somebody as Meek Mill stature was dating Nicki Minaj, songs with Drake, and all of these high-profile dudes and shit, ended up beefing with Drake. He was in the high-profile sector of hip-hop, the A-list sector of hip-hop. And 6,000 copies, that just don't make any sense. That's an indication that it's over with. You know what I mean? And should nobody feel no type of way about it, man. If you're not a team ball player, you should be removed from the team. Straight like that. So that's how I feel. Make sure y'all go get Pillmatic, man. My album is fired, man. We playing team ball. I got a lot of underground MCs, very talented, from all over the place, man. I put niggas from Rochester with niggas from Cali, niggas from New York City with niggas from Texas. Like, it's people. I even got a dope-ass female track. Shout out to my female hitters, man. Marvelous, the legend from California and shit. Did a lot of songs with Sibo. She's on that joint. Rail Rock and Inked Up Baddie. I put them together. They put out a dope ass record, man, called Make It Stack. Make sure you go check that out, man. I ain't in here, exaggerating or nothing, man. I got one of the hottest albums in the country. It's a double disc, side A and a side B. I appreciate every last one of you niggas that chose to get down with me on this project. There was people that showed their ass to me, but I bet you they regret it now. I'm up out of here, man. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitter at Gully TV1. Subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. The Real Gully TV. Is this your first time catching me recording the Dribble podcast? This is available on all streaming sites. This is a podcast that I'm recording right here. Y'all just getting a visual, but you can listen to this on all streaming sites: Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, Amazon, all of those. And I got a library. This is season 2. Pillmatic 2 is out. Gonna keep on getting busy. I hope the Knicks pull this fucking game out and go into the Eastern Conference Finals. That'll mean everything to me. So let's go Knicks. Want to see the Knicks and the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I would like Minnesota to come out the West. And I'm done here, man. I did my damage, man. Make sure y'all go get my album, Sin City, from the Diplomats. I appreciate you. Shaheem, I appreciate you. Sam Scar, I appreciate you. Roscoe P. Cold Chain from Philly, I appreciate you. Opioid Era, I appreciate you. And most importantly, P.A. Dre, I appreciate you. Peace, I'm out of here.
Nigga, the hunger to win, the will to survive. And look in my eyes, saying that the victory's mine. Every L is a lesson to learn. Every triumph is a blessing to earn. Blood, sweat, and the burn. Nigga, the hunger to win, the will to survive. And look in my eyes, saying that the victory's mine. Every L is a lesson to learn. Every triumph is a blessing to earn. Blood, sweat, and the burn. I'm from the Saddam era, never been alarmed ever. Keep it calm, clever nigga, reach and get your arms severed. Taking strong measures, never know how you react until you been in it. Jaded with a chic style, I'm living off experience. Cocaine and chemistry, we living off experiments. Feminine energy got them flipping the pyramids. It's still down LeBron, snapbacks, Ralph in the pyramids. Big Hawk with the bone crusher, I'm trying to rib. The honor rebel, the carnal rebel.